Wolf Pack, what's going on? It's your boy, the Wolf of Roto Street, rotostreetjournal.com. We breed and feed fantasy wolves here with your Thursday night football fantasy tailgate sit start show, getting your week kicked off the right way. I am kicking mine off personally with a nothing gold Bissell Brothers Brewers in Portland, Maine. Unbelievable. Had it on draft actually this weekend for the first time. Great stuff, but crack those beers, crack whatever you're drinking. Let's have some booze to kick off week 7 arriving, folks. And of course, get your questions in. That's why I know you're all here anyways. I'm going to rip through real quick just a couple of rankings, updates, a couple of actives, inactives, all that good stuff. It should take about 15, 20 minutes tops. And then the rest of the show is, of course, dedicated to you and your questions. And maybe a little DFS, a little showdown slate. Maybe we'll talk. We'll see. But Thursday night actives for tonight, we got Lane Johnson in, and we got Desean Jackson in for the Eagles. And that's actually two big upgrades for this entire offense as a whole. One, Lane Johnson, probably the best lineman on that team at this point. So that's a huge upgrade to have this guy in the lineup. Good for Boston Scott. Bad for my fantasy prospects since I'm facing Boston Scott in pretty much every league. Yay. And then Desean Jackson, though, also stretching the field again. Good for Boston Scott. So I'm gonna give Boston Scott a little bit of an upgrade over Jerick McKinnon. That's about it, though. I'm going to bump down Devin Singletary below him just because Devin Singletary. Same with Melvin Gordon. Who knows if he's in, out. It's all so confusing. I'm going to leave Gibson just ahead, though, because I love that Dallas matchup, and we just saw what Kenyon Drake, who sucked all year, has done against them. So was it just a matter of mom's pep talk, or was it really just that defense is spineless? So ultimately, a good news for Boston Scott with Desean Jackson stretching the field, with Lane Johnson back as well. And speaking of Desean Jackson, should you stream him this week? I've gotten that question quite a few times so far. Don't love it, but he is also facing a Giants defense that typically has sucked. They've been better in 2020, but they are susceptible to wide receivers. The 14th most points allowed at the position, so, top half. I like him better than, let's look here at some of these plays. Now, I have him pretty highly ranked as is, maybe over Ayuk, but I like Beasley more than Tim Patrick, who led the league in air yards last week. Anybody who played trivia saw today. Check out fantasy trivia next time too, folks. But Cole Beasley, I love, especially with John Brown. We're going to talk about a little bit questionable, but there is a wide receiver I have to add, and I again don't think I would play him tonight. But Sterling Shepard is back. Finally active with that toe injury. First appearance since week 2. He's only 29% owned right now. And that's a pretty big deal because Golden Tate and Evan Ingram have been gigantic bags of dirt. Neither of them have been useful in the slightest. So Sterling Shepard could come right into a pretty big role. And you got to imagine Slayton gets shadowed by Slay, which Slayton could still do a little damage, but maybe, just maybe, Sterling Shepard comes in here and has himself a decent. So I'm going to bump him, right into my top 55 or so wide receivers. Let's see what happens to him. Golden Tate, sucks. So I'm going to bump him below, but he gets a revenge game actually tonight. So, revenge game it up, right? But Slayton just takes a little bit of a hit too. So where I have Slayton in this tier of T. Higgins, who I fucking love this week. So I'm going to bump Slayton down, below Cooks, right into this range right here. I like Mike Williams just a little more than Debo too, if I have both options personally. So a little bit bumped down for Slayton. Dinged up last week, a risk to re-aggravate himself, drawing Slay. Now you got Shepard back. It's just a little bit risky, in my opinion. Of course, if you have Slayton questions and any questions, get them on in. And as always, any likes are so appreciated. Those thumbs up on YouTube, on Facebook, and of course, Periscope, any retweets in the heart is always so appreciated, guys. So thanks so much. If you're tuned in here, it would mean the world if you could do that for us. Alrighty, guys. That's it for Thursday Night Football actives and actives. Just want to make sure they're there. One guy that's not playing tonight, that's Zach Ertz. And he's also on the trading block. Rumored to be, apparently they talked to multiple executives, but then he got injured and he's now on the injured reserve. So teams could still trade for him technically, But with Dallas Goedert just ready to come back. Now, also frustrating that, and speaking of these notes, Goddard's not in, Reiger's not in. They're saying that they might be held out to week 10. So see a lot of people blow a lot of money on Goddard. I personally am victim of that. It's going to suck that we have to wait like another week, then a bye week, and then he's back, and then Ertz is probably back anyways. So Richard Rodgers really, honestly, might be the play. In fact, let's look at our tight ends. Let's see where Richard Rodgers, I've gotten a few questions about him on Twitter throughout the day. Let's see where he slides in now, knowing Goddard's not back, knowing clearly Ertz is not in. I have him at 19. I think 19's about right. Logan Thomas gets them. I'm going to bump down Fursker because he doesn't really matter at this point, because we're going to talk about some news. In fact, why don't we just pull that one up, because we're in the middle of tight ends anyways. That being A.J. Brown misses practice. He sits, but Jonnu Smith back in full. So here we go, baby. Jonnu, get right back into the rankings, right back into pretty much any respectable top 7, 8. Yes, Pittsburgh, tough matchup, 25th fewest points, so like very low against tight ends, but definitely right in here. I mean, maybe above. Tunyan's got a great matchup if he's healthy. We're going to talk about him later. We're going to talk about Fant later. But I think you got to have Jonnu right here in your top 8, and this list kind of gets cut off. Let me get these tiers a little more straightened out here. Right about there. Right about at Higbee. That seems more appropriate for your tight ends here, folks. John, right back in your top 10. Now, A.J. Brown, what's going on? Practiced on Wednesday, now not. You never like a good midweek down, not good, a midweek downgrade. So A.J. Brown, who I was pretty high on, I'm still high on that game. I would be less high on that game should A.J. Brown miss it, because he's a huge part of that offense putting up points. Tannehill was efficient without him, but he also faced some crap defenses. I don't think he can get it done against Pittsburgh without A.J. Brown. That'd be a big downgrade. Now I'm going to wait. I'm guessing he plays, and I'm going to keep him here, assuming he does. But he's just a guy you have to now monitor, no doubt about it. And we talked about Ertz potentially on the trade block. That would preserve some decent value for Dallas Goedert being the only guy there. Would be a top 10 tight end, in my opinion, rest of season, should he be the only guy. Ertz looks like complete shit, so I don't know who's going to trade for him. Don't expect them to pull off a trade. Raiders O-line has been sent home for COVID restrictions. That's terrifying. If you get a game without your offensive line, I can't imagine they play that, first of all. But that has to concern you a little bit for Josh Jacobs, who I admittedly already am a little bit lower on this week. At 14, I'll bump him down the spot below, just because no offensive line's not good. Tampa Bay's run D is one of the better ones of the league. Yeah, I'm a little bit lower on Josh Jacobs, and that's still going to hold true. Derek Carr is never in your plans anyways, but a guy like maybe Henry Ruggs is not going to have the time that he normally would to get deep if this offensive line doesn't get that shit together. And really the big ramifications of that is they have moved that Bucs-Raiders game from Sunday Night Football all the way now to 4 o'clock football. Now, there's two big implications for that, because one, they swapped out Arizona and Seattle. The game that I am targeting in all my DFS, the game I needed on the main slate, is sadly gripped from my fucking greedy ass hands and won't be there. That was what I was going to construct all my lineups around. Fuck. Now I'm going to be turning to maybe Houston, Green Bay. I don't know. We'll figure that out when the ramifications come. But now you get Ronald Jones on the main slate. A very nice play against the Raiders defense. He's going to eat it as long as this game happens, but you must monitor your Raiders, your Bucs, because that game could just go poof like we've seen all season this year. Now, a guy that has to be downgraded right now just because he's a bag of fucking shit. Mike Thomas. Has there been any more frustrating to own than Mike Thomas this year, folks? Midweek hamstring injury, probably not playing. I'm just going to throw him down to 16 just to say, fuck you, Mike. Gets in a fight with a teammate, doesn't play. So you've really had no Mike Thomas this year if you drafted him at 5-6 overall. And I was a bell cow breeder, so if you listen to me, you did not. I had him at 14 overall on the big board, so I have no shares of Thomas. A lot of people do. A lot of people try to buy low, and now this shit happens. To me, I feel like there's a lot going on behind the scenes here. And maybe I'm just being a skeptic, anxious owner, but I think there's something happening, between the fight with the teammate and then getting benched, between now sitting out. I don't know. It seems to me like there's some bad blood brewing over there in New Orleans. And who knows what Drew Brees can fucking do anyways as a passer. So he's at risk to miss the game. If he does miss the game, let's show you where I would slide in Mr. Sanders, Mr. Emmanuel Sanders. I have him pretty low because, again, you got a target hog. Oh, way too low. Jesus Christ. I did not purposely rank him that low. He would be normally right in this range, the A.J. Green Gallops. With this risk of him missing time, we've seen Emmanuel Sanders play as like an infinite target hog. So I'm going to bump him up to like my top 35 or so wide receivers, assuming MT doesn't play. Again, big bag of dirt. But you got to monitor that the rest of the week. Another guy, another stud you have to monitor, Mr. Joe Mixon, does not practice yet again. It doesn't seem good, folks. Granted, we've seen him miss practice and then put up 38-point days. But as my running back 4, no thanks. I'll bump him down to like running back 9 at this point. Because if he plays, it's going to be clear he's limited. Hell, give me fucking Carson. Carson belongs in this tier. At 1, I don't know why he's not in there. Give me Carson over Mixon at this point. Just a concern. But make sure you look for Geo Bernard if you're running back needy, 14% owned. The dude is average 15 points per start with Mixon out. Already gets a ton of receiving work. Has plotted in for some stupid touchdowns already this year. Will be the every down guy. And every down running back is always worth it. 4,500 on DraftKings too. I mean, Kenyon Drake is 4,800, but that could be a nice way to pivot if you think Drake just goes back to his shitty ass self. Sure could. But Mixon definitely riskier. Geo Bernard, where would he slide in? I'd say right here, this 21, 22 range is where I'd slide in Bernard, despite him averaging top 15 numbers every time Mixon hits that. Noah Fant, as you had already seen, is very high in my tight end rankings. Number 7, that's 9 spots higher than the ECR. But now that he's practicing full, I expect the rankings to kind of pan out and have him get back up there. I mean, the dude put up 15 and 7.1 dud against a tough Bucs D. Then had 6 in the first half against the Jets before getting hurt. We're looking at probably 3 out of his 4 games, if he played that full Jets game, being 12 to 15 points. That's very impressive for tight ends. And him, it's no fluke. Athletic after the catch, can bust the seams, can split out wide. If he's in and you own him, there's a very, very good chance I'm telling you to play him. My tight end, like 6-7 for the week, really, really all in on him. And a guy that's worth waiting for, in my opinion, Robert Tunyan. He's working on the sideline with only his helmet. More than some of their other injured players was the report, but that doesn't sound all that encouraging. Still, the Texans have given up the 3rd most points to tight ends. This game is bound to be a points bonanza, in my opinion. Houston versus the Green Bay Packers, clearly in need of a rebound week. Rodgers showing a whole lot more spine than I've seen, despite that Bucs awful no spine effort. The rest of the season, this dude has really, really lit it up. And then with Bill O'Brien gone, that Texans offense, so much more play action, deep shots, more aggression. Love it all. That game's going to become the stack of the main slate, given this Seattle game has been robbed from us. So Tunyan, he is worth waiting for. Yes, absolutely. And a guy you can wait for with him, Darren Fells. Let's see where the dude slides into my tight end rankings. 8 to 10% owned right now, depending on this news. Jordan Akins is out, probably not going to play this week, so it seems. So I have Darren Fells right here at tight end 16. Fuck it. I'll put him in here with these guys. Absolutely. Gives you a great touchdown upside. I mean, Dalton Schultz, do I really need Dalton Schultz above him? I don't know. The Washington matchup is as juicy as can be. But Darren Fells, 10% owned. If you have tight end woes, you got to give this guy a look and a good backup plan. It gives you the same exact game with Tunyan, so if Tunyan's out, slap him on in, gives you a nice replacement option. Crowder, not a fan of this one because Crowder was my higher of the week on just yesterday's podcast. So let me take a quick sip for his sake. The midweek downgrade. Nobody likes a fucking midweek downgrade, folks. Goes from a limited practice to a does not practice, and that suggests his groin didn't feel good. It didn't respond well. But, I had him significantly higher than the ECR. At this point, I might just kind of fall in line where he's ranked around 30. Like, right around here, if he's hampered, I mean, the Bills matchup, nothing scary about it. Crowder himself entered the week the most receiving yards per game. Didn't have a great game, but still saw 13 targets. Darnold, his boys, back. But if he doesn't play, I mean, Brashad Perriman out there on pretty much every waiver had 60 yards last week. I mean, Perriman, I have here, like, he could become a very intriguing sleeper this week. I'd have him above Shepard just on the fact that they're banged up. I mean, DeMarcus, I feels a little overrated there. I like Perriman. I'd have Perriman above Golden Tate. We'll slide him on up with Crowder banged up. And if Crowder remains banged up, he's going to slide up a whole lot more. We already touched upon your injured Titans. Last guy is John Brown. Not practicing, was clearly at less than 100. And I love me some John Brown. I mean, he murdered the Jets in week 1. But at less than 100, top 40, I'm just going to X him out because I don't think he plays. If he plays at less than 100, I mean, if I'm waiting on him, I'd rather play D-Jax tonight. Let's put it that way. So he's the last guy I wanted to cover. Let me know if you guys have any questions related to Thursday night football or sit starts for Sunday night football. We got 25 of them so far. The rest of the time is yours, Wolfpack. So get them on in. What's going on, Mitch? Great to see you as always, as loyal as they come. Cheers, brother. Great to see you. Fulgham or DJ Chark PPR? Oh, good question, APAR45. We got Desean Jackson back, which lessens the appeal, in my opinion, just a little bit of Fulgham. But Fulgham's been a fucking target monster. We got Chark a little dinged up, but then Chark also is facing a Chargers team that's given up the third most points to quarterbacks, gotten bombed by the injuries. I think I wait this one out and I go DJ Chark. 14 fucking targets last week. I know he did nothing with them, but 14 targets is 14 targets, dude. That's legit. Ridley, Golladay, Crowder, Lockett, pick 3. And Geckel, you know better than this. I know you know, Geckel. You know better. Ridley is a lock. Don't do that shit. Golladay facing Atlanta, a lock. Lockett, a lock. So actually you have such good options. I do this every time because you give me all these great names and I get it. But you're never benching Ridley. You're not benching a number 1 receiver, Golladay, against Atlanta. And then, as we just said, you got Crowder kind of sucking. Not suck. He sucked last week, but I mean, on fire, but dinged up right now. So give me Lockett personally. Elbow cough from Phantom Gaming. Not sure what that means. Wide receiver. Hell. That seems pretty good to me. That's not hell right there. How are you thinking? How are you picking the spread? Eagles minus 4.5 for Cody Hooks. What do you say? I will say this, Cody. I am not much of a sports bettor myself. I love over-unders and I love player props. I don't love spreads. I never hit spreads very well. So I'll preface it with that. You want my spread pick? I think the Eagles. It's going to be a tougher game, though. I'd say, fuck it. I'll say Giants, with that spread. Because they could outright win it. Never mind 4.5. Like, keep it within a field goal at least. So give me the Giants with those points. My man, Jimmy Bridges. Higgins or Henderson Jr.? I would lean Higgins. I love Higgins this week. Cleveland team that's just getting destroyed through the air, especially after the catch. That's Higgins' specialty. Give me Higgins all day. I'm all in on him this week. Trey S. Hey, what's up, brother? Full PPR. Choose one. Singletary, Swift, Cooks, Deontay Johnson. Thanks, brother. It comes down to Cooks or Swift for me. Deontay I love, but I need to see him make it for a game before I put him back in my lineups if I have these types of options. Swift faces Atlanta, who's given up the most receiving points to running backs in the league. Swift's specialty, receiving, 20 targets as compared to 7 for AP, 67% of them, or whatever the percent ends up being, and gets goal line looks. The script could be them getting behind early, which means more Swift. I think Swift's on the rise, and I love Cooks. I love the Green Bay matchup, but what if Cooks, instead of Fuller, draws Jair? Now, I expect Jair to be on Fuller, which has me a little down on him and has me a little higher on Cooks. I'm going Swift. I'm going Swift here. Love those two options, but I'm going Swift. Acree, 11. Should I start Boston Scott tonight over Mike Williams or John? Ooh, good options. And yes, I do start Boston Scott. Yes. The guy I would go over him, though, would be Mike Williams if I wanted between those two. John is a little risky, banged up against the Steelers. Can't fully endorse him with love by any means. But I do like Mike Williams a lot against the Chargers. He also gets Keenan Allen back, though, after that target hog game, those 2 touchdowns. Is that going to remain the case with Keenan back? I'd probably play Boston Scott so I could see. I hope Scott sucks, so I don't want to root against you, Akery, for tuning in and giving me a good question here. But if I had those options, I think I'd go Scott. What's up, Wolf Flex for Steven Hernandez with a big swig coming for you. Ridley or Gurley or Mike Thomas if healthy? Ridley. What are we talking about? Why is Ridley even this question? Ridley overall. Ridley over life. Come on. Calvin Ridley's a monster. Why would we even question him? And it's against Detroit, too. It's not even like it's a hard matchup and you're questioning Ridley. What has this dude done besides that 1 0-point game where he was clearly less than 100%? Ugh. Don't ask about that, Steven. Ridley. All day. Gavin Harris. Do I start Wentz or Burrow this week? I lost Dak. I'm going Burrow. Love that Cleveland matchup for Higgins, and I love it for the guy engineering the offense, and that's Burrow. 9th most points to quarterbacks versus the Giants team has been decent. I get Wentz has gotten it done these last couple of weeks, and this matchup's easier than those weeks, but I love Burrow. I really like Burrow this week. Give him to me. Jonnu or Hooper? I got to go Jonnu, my man. Got to go Jonnu, Cooper. Geckel. Cooper. Geckel, for sure. It was precautionary. They should be cleared tomorrow. I agree. Bean 8-2 forever. You love those beans forever, baby. I agree. I think it's precautionary with Trent Brown, but just something to keep in your mind for sure. Wanted to give you the info. Have to start 3. Godwin, Cooper, Lockett, A-Rob. You got to bench one. I'm benching A-Rob. That matchup with Ramsey scares me. Definition of the target hog, but yeah. Godwin, Cooper, Lockett. I love all those options. So compared to A-Rob, I have him higher. Slant boy. Love it. That slant Mike. Can't slant Mike. Where there's smoke, there's fire, says Sammy. Good to see you, Sammy. Been a while. Been a minute since we caught up. I'd love to catch up with you soon. Crazy, we might get more production from A.J. Brown than Michael Thomas here. Yeah, and no at this point. It seems like that's what's going to happen. I mean, Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown. Seriously, right? Like, when's he going to show up? Let's chat about him real quick, right? Seahawks supposedly making a push for him, but there's other teams interested. Let's pray one of those teams is the Packers. Like, could it be better than him landing with the Packers? Yeah, Adams, the clear target hog, but like, there's a desperate need for a number 2 on a team that is ready for the playoffs. Good Lord, I'd love to see him go there. I'd love to see him go to the Cardinals too. Same idea. Great quarterback, clear number 1, but like, I mean, Hopkins could Antonio Brown, if he's still what he was a couple of years ago, which is a big if, why would you not add him 1? You got to stash him. That's what the end of our benches are for. League winning, there's no such upside like his. We called this 4 weeks ago, by the way. With the Seahawks, wouldn't love it because I own TK everywhere. But he also gets to play with Russell, and that's one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and they're just cooking. So that wouldn't be a bad spot by any means. I'd love to see him go to the Packers, the Cardinals, as I mentioned. Eagles clearly need some wide receiver like an alpha. He would fit in there as an alpha, as we would with the 49ers. And the Texans, that would be sexy. That's an offense with a injury-prone Will Fuller. I mean, Antonio Brown could end the year as their number 1 without question. So, yeah, there's definitely a world where Antonio Brown does some crazy things. Mike Clay, worried about the Bucs-Raiders game, and he's unable to drop anyone because he has Brady, Rojo, Bucks D. Ooh, that's a loaded Bucks lineup. If they don't play, I would have to field 2 spots. Oh. If they play without Raiders starting a line, no more shootout potential. I agree. Bucks D crushes. So should I start Wentz over Brady? No. Because because if this game moves and you can't drop Brady, then you're kind of fucked. I have Brady 12 and Wentz 13. So, I mean, they're that close, Mike, that you might as well, I think. Denny Jennings. I have Julio, Kupp, Robbie Anderson. Would you flex Jonnu for any of them? No. And I would keep all of them in. Yeah, I'd keep all those guys in. Cup, though. Okay. Let's think about Cup for a second. Chicago, the lowest points allowed to wide receivers. If Jonnu's like continues to practice full, really ready to go, maybe. But I still think I'd go the 3 receivers there. Giuseppe, D-Jax or McCole. Give me D-Jax, but I'm also a spited McCole owner after that goose egg. I would tell you to play the fucking stick in my backyard over McCole Hardman right now. Because maybe you could just like whack yourself with the stick and that'd feel more fun than McCole Hardman at this point. So we know McCole will go for 70 and a TD at this point, but I'm going D-Jax. Let's see what he does tonight. Gives you a little Thursday night juice, baby. Let's go, Giuseppe. Traded Josh Allen and Lindsey for Tannehill, OBJ to help out a struggling friend. Let's be nice to each other, people. Why would you ever help a fucking league mate? No, I hate that. Yeah, no, never help out a fucking league mate. No, get out of here, Matthew. This is not, no. I'm all about helping others. Be all, altruistic, help everybody. Other than fantasy fucking football. This is a selfish game, dude. Fuck you, Matthew. Come on. None of that shit. I hate that. Hate that. Trade my MT for his Lamar and AJ Brown. Need QB after Dak. Other receivers are Shenault, Crowder, DJ Moore, Ayuk, AJ Green. Yeah, I do it, especially with all this fucking shit around Mike Thomas these days. Hammy now. It just seems like a fucking headache all year long. If you need a QB that bad, then yes, do it. All in. Now, those of you, again, tuned in, wherever you're at, a thumbs up would be so appreciated. If it's on Facebook, it's on YouTube, Periscope, anything, any shares too. You drop this in a fantasy football group you're in, or bring some friends of the broadcast with you. It's always so greatly appreciated. I love doing this with you guys, but it would be so appreciated to help us get more discovered with those likes, with those shares. That would be awesome. So thank you. Johnny, good times. What's up, brother? Was offered Myles Gaskin or Corey Davis for Tyler Boyd. Well, Corey Davis can go sit on a fucking stick. Who gives a shit about him? But Myles Gaskin, very intriguing. And now that Le'Veon Bell's no longer going there, I would rather have Gaskin than Boyd. So, yeah, you get Corey Davis. Go fucking. But Myles Gaskin for Tyler Boyd when it comes up to straight up. Especially if you have good receivers, give me Myles Gaskin. Yeah. Carter Sitch, should I go Ayuk, Shenault, AJ Green? Oh, God, none. I would probably go Shenault of this group. Maybe AJ Green, though. I mean, 90 yards, getting it done last week. Maybe AJ Green. Let's touch base, Giuseppe, as I know you will Sunday. You'll be there. You always are. Love you. Jim Bob Cooter. What a name. What a name, Jim Bob Cooter. What a toss-out from the Detroit Lions, baby. The OG Jim Bob Cooter is on the fullback dive, baby. Love it. Jonnu Smith or Hawkinson. Jim Bob, you coach the Lions. You know better than that, sis. It's Hawkinson. The easiest matchup for tight ends against Atlanta. Get him on in. I love Jonnu, but banged up and facing that ferocious Pittsburgh D. Give me Hawkinson, baby. Todd, my man. Good to see you. Traded away James Robinson for Tyler Lockett. Thoughts? Stables full? Your stable's full? I love it. Lockett, you bought low on it. Hit a couple dud games, but that dude's going to eat. My one worry, Roos, baby goes there. And he's rumored to be like the slot guy if he goes there. That would eat into a decent amount of Lockett's work. But I think you sold high on James Robinson, who I think is clearly trending downwards. So I like it. Villaguerro. Fulgham or Godwin? Going Godwin, baby. Now, of course, that game gets canceled. Sorry. But Godwin against the Raiders D, that's not very good. I got to do it. Sarah Riley asking to drop Jonnu or Hurst for Fant. I would drop Hurst for Fant. Yeah, I would. Shades, fresh off his trivia win. Feeling good. Surprised you didn't gloat in the comments here. Send us a little fucking talk about you being the boss. You better not have cheated, Shades. I'm on to you. But no, good win, man. Good win. He has Waller. Is Gesicki droppable to free up a roster spot? Yeah. If you got Waller. Boomer bust Gesicki, especially on a bye week. You can get something more exciting in there. Jimmy Bob. Wolf. Giants D versus Philly or Chiefs D versus Denver? Tough one. Defense is always such a fucking crapshoot, Jim Bob Coots. My gut says Giants. Eagles cover tonight, says Denny. You think they score more than 4.5? We'll see. Your profile picture says there's no bias to that answer at all either. I'm going Giants cover. We're not worthy. Thanks for the input always, brother. Gecko, I love you, man. Thanks so much for coming in. Thoughts on Sanders and Edelman? Kind of random question. Which Sanders won? Darren Murray. Is it Miles Sanders? Is it Emmanuel Sanders? Is it Emmanuel Sanders versus Edelman? Need a little more context. What do you want? What thoughts do you want? Don't love Edelman right now. So game flow dependent and does not seem, even when they were down big last week, like they didn't really throw to him. Edelman kind of seems like a cut. Hate to say it. Might be. If Mixon sits, play Bernard or Montgomery. Gecko, you know me. I will never go Montgomery. But I actually do like Bernard more than Montgomery. Just not even out of stubbornness. Darren, he's a 2 QB league, and QBs are Mayfield, Burrow. Oh, Mayfield? Love me, Burrow, but Mayfield? Oh. Did you pick up Tua? Like, have you gotten yourself any backups, anything? Trade for anything. That's again, these open-ended questions, Darren. You're not giving me much to work with here. But yes, you should definitely trade because Mayfield fucking sucks. Andrew Fleener, Boston Scott, DJ Moore at flex. I'm leaning Moore. I think that game, he'll draw the second coverage there. I like Moore. Lair still a must start, only have Montgomery. Yeah, of course, if it's Montgomery to replace him. Come on, Gecko. You know I'll never fucking say Montgomery over anybody, especially not Hilaire. Elaine, by the way. It's Hilaire. There's an H in there, by the way. Andrew Fleener, Ronald Jones, and Gurley is my running backs. Love it. Good stuff. Good backs. I'd go Ronald Jones over Gurley if that's a question, but if not, pretty solid, like ugly-looking backs that ended up panning out pretty good this year. As Hilaire must start. Options to replace are Dobbins, Madison, Jacobs is the other starter. Yeah, Hilaire's a must start. Those are your options. Carlos Lara. I have Mark Andrews on bye. Gronk or Richard Rodgers? Richard Rodgers gives you a little bit of Thursday night juice, which who doesn't like a little bit of Thursday night juice? But Gronk after that touchdown, I think I have Gronk like a spot ahead. But you want that Thursday night juice, Mr. Carlos? I'm going to go Gronk, but you could go Richard. You could go Richard. Massad Ryan. Wolf, appreciate what you do, man. Well, cheers, man. I love doing it, and I appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate you wanting the input. Question, Fulgham, Freeman, Peterson. Thank you. And it's not even that I hate the options. I actually kind of like sneakily like them all. That's what makes this tough. That isn't towards disgust. It's I like these guys. Let's make a pick here. Fulgham, Freeman, Peterson, thank you. Peterson will find the end zone, right? Like, I know you want some Thursday night juice, but Fulgham's been a beast. Fulgham. Let's go Fulgham. Let's fucking light him up. 10 targets, 2 back-to-back weeks. I know Jackson's back, but light him up. Let's go Fulgham. Sorry, Wolf. Lesson learned. Never help people out in fantasy. Never. Love you, Matt. Thank you for tuning in. David Johnson or McKinnon. I'm going to go David Johnson. Don't love him. Get slower by the week, as we like to say, Marcos. But Green Bay's also giving up the most points to running backs. Dude's going to find the end zone this week. Got Smoke and Crowder, and both look like they won't play. Need a flex. Who do I drop? Damian Harris or Murray, or do I start one of them? Kirk, I like Kirk. Get Kirk in there. Out of those guys, I drop Dame. I think Murray's too valuable as a handcuff and then also with benefits. So I drop Dame. I add Kirk. I think Kirk's a great flex this week. Do I drop Juju for Hollywood? Yeah. Fuck Juju. Screw Juju and yes to Hollywood all day. Johan Calls. Boston Scott or Gibson? Give me Gibson. Bias owner here. I own Gibson. I'm facing Scott. Am I playing my own narrative here? Yeah. Boston Scott, good spot with Lane Johnson back, with Desean Jackson back. We've seen him put up 30-point days, but that week 1 dud still lingers a little sickening in the stomach. And Gibson gets Dallas, who just got steamrolled by Drake. So I like this to be the week that Gibson comes out. Zach Foster, 1. Freeman, Jackson, Lindsey, full PPR. You got good enough options that I would play probably Jackson, maybe Lindsey. If Gore doesn't play, then it's Lindsey. But otherwise, I like Jackson the most of this group. Jim Bob Cooter, offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions 5 years ago. Got Ridley and Godwin as starting wideouts. McKinnon, Singletary as starting running backs. I have Swift above both McKinnon and Singletary. Chark or Kirk on bench, what's the play? So let's get Swift in. I would play Swift over McKinnon. So now it becomes McKinnon, Chark, and Kirk. Now that's tough. That's really fucking tough. 14 targets for Chark last week against a soft defense this week. Tells me it should probably be Chark over McKinnon. But then again, if McKinnon gets those 92% snaps like he got last time they're out, I mean, he got out carried by Hasty, so maybe not. This is tough, Jim Bob. You don't give me a clear. It's not PPR. Okay. Yeah, then this next one. Get Swift in, locked in. Take McKinnon out. And for now, I'm going Chark. Check in Sunday, Jim Bob, because I might change my mind on that. Not positive. Chark, Higgins, Lamb for my man, Mike Clay. Going Higgins. This is Higgins week, babe. It's Higgins all week, every week. Higgins is a fucking monster, and it's time to accept it. It's Higgins. Rest of the season above Odell, in my opinion. Alrighty, Wolfpack. Well, we're getting kickoff in about 10 minutes, so I'm going to go get my showdown. I'll make my showdown live. You guys let me know. I'll do my showdown. Let's see what we do. Let's see how we do. Any of you guys that play DFS. And then I am out because I got to get my own lineup set. Lobby. Let's throw some bullshit into this. How do we find this? Showdown. That's what we're looking for today. Featured showdown. I don't know how many of you guys play the featured showdowns, but let's get on in there and win 100K tonight, right, folks? So Wentz is most expensive at 1080. Daniel Jones 1040. Sanders is out, so that doesn't matter. Scott's 840. Easy matchup. Oh boy, don't like that. Fulgham, Ingram. Easy matchup for Ingram. He's intriguing. Shepard back tonight. That could be intriguing, especially because Slayton 9,200 will be drawing Darius Slay. I wish why don't we, I'll pull this up on DraftKings so we can like screen share this. Why am I doing it on my phone? And again, any questions you guys have, get them in. I will answer any of them. Jack Lansford, as DraftKings is loading here. Start Fulgham tonight. Who gets Bradbury, him or D-Jax? I don't fucking know. I'm not the coach. How the fuck would I know? My guess is it's Fulgham who gets it, but maybe it's D-Jax. But I like Fulgham. Yes, I do. It depends who your other options are, though, right? Let me know who your other options are. Jim Bob will be back on Sunday. I love to hear it, man. All right, well, we're going to go to this screen share, and I'm going to share my my DraftKings here, and let's see if we can win $10,000. Yeah, baby. Oh, I love being delusional. Here we go. Let's draft this team. So captains, of course, who you think is going to score the most. It's hard not to think that's Wentz tonight. My QB 13. But let's look at like the standard prices for these guys. Freeman, Jeffrey's not playing. Where's Desean? Where's Desean Jackson? He's got to be a lock in the lineups at this point. I think he could go deep for a TD. What's this note on progressing well in his recovery? Cool. Thanks for the note, Doug. Much appreciated. Has Greg Ward just become an absolute nobody? That's a pretty low price for a guy. 2 targets, 9. Yeah, he's become a nobody. Okay. I see Mitch Chavez and Tia. Let's get your questions. Start 2. Gibson, McKinnon, White, Juju, CD, Chark. I am going to go Gibson and CD there. That's where I'm leaning. McKinnon is interesting, and so is Chark, Tia. We have a little bit to discover there. So I like Gibson and I like CD off the gut right now, though. Desean Jackson over Geo. If Mixon doesn't play, no, I go Geo there, Mitch. Traded McKissick, got Hunter Henry. I like, wow, geez. Now have Henry, Hurst, Hooper. My friend just dropped Madison for AB, so going to pick up. Fuck Madison. I don't want anything to do with him, Joey. I just cut him myself. I would drop Hooper of those tight ends, but I don't want Madison. Boyd or Chark? Boyd. Yeah, Boyd. All right, let's do this thing with DraftKings. Captain, I'm going to go Wentz. Oh, that's not even captain spot. Give me Sanders. Oh, Jackson. What am I talking about? Jackson. Captain Wentz. Let's balance that out with Fulgham. I'm hoping Wentz just goes bananas. Let's see what cheap shit we have down here. I don't think we need to get this ugly. Let's go Freeman. I'm just so fucking biased because I'm facing Scott. I don't want him to do anything. Sneak Shepard in. See, kickers are the way you got to fucking go. So let me do this thing. Kicker, kicker. I think Jake the Snake Elliott. Here we go. I'm going to do something crazy here. I see you guys. Don't worry. I'm going to get there. I think Elliott puts up like 18 as the captain. And then we can get Danny Jones in here. I don't know. Screw it. I hate all this. But we're in. I suck at those, by the way, so don't take that advice at all. But if I'm winning 100K tonight, don't forget your boy. All righty. Couple last questions here. Half PPR as my flex. Henderson or Debo? I like Henderson. Like Henderson. Freeman or McKissick? Freeman. Pick 3. Amari Cooper, Washington football team. Robert Woods, Risk Bears. Tyler Boyd, versus Browns. DJ Chark versus Chargers. Fulgham tonight. Jackson, Jaguars, and standard for Ray Gamer. Cooper, Boyd, Woods or Chark. Let's see how healthy Chark is. Why don't you like Madison? Because Madison's a fucking douche. He had the gold matchup, Joe B. Yeah, so okay, he's the handcuff, sure, to an injury-prone guy, but he got you 3.6 against a team giving up the second most points to running backs. Ew. If he goes down, would he be a clear RB2? 3.6 is a clear RB2? Nah, not for me, my man. Not for me. Guy who gave me Henry has Kelsey. If that makes it less outrageous, I guess, but it's still pretty fucking outrageous, dude. Good pull. Alrighty, Wolfpack. Well, thank you so much for joining in tonight. Always a pleasure for these sit-start shows, interacting with y'all. If you don't mind, again, giving this thumbs up, sharing it with friends, or if you want to be a little selfish and not share us out, at least give us a review on our podcast and subscribe on YouTube with that the bell, so you know when we go live. It would mean the world to us, Wolfpack. So thanks so much, though, for coming on down, spending your Thursday night. Giuseppe, MT, and James White for Lamar and Diggs. Yeah, do that one. Get Diggs. Diggs is an ace. But thanks again, Wolfpack. I am, of course, the Wolf of Rose Street, at Rose Street Wolf on Twitter. RoseStreetJournal.com. We breed and feed fantasy wolves. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you live tomorrow for DFS. Tune on in, guys. See ya.